Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the Yggdrasil Roadshow. Today, we're going to have a look at the releases for February. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming network promotions in February, and also the one in the end of March, our Easter promo, the Easter Ygg. But more on that later. Looking at the roadmap for February, March, and April here, we can see that there's a lot of releases, a lot of good stuff coming your way. As always, it's a bit of a mix of games, of course, so there is definitely something in here for everybody, to say the least. But the focus of today is going to be on the February games, where we're going to talk to the studios in question. But before we talk about the games, let's have a look at Carnival Craze, the network campaign coming up here in February. It starts on the 17th and it runs until the 26th. Now, this is a mission, meaning that players have missions in the games that they will do and then score on the leaderboard. There is 40,000 euros here in prizes for the players. So it's a great free promo to get out there, for the players to enjoy. Now, with the missions, it is very important that you have at least most of the games live, because the player will see the games in the kind of the promo tooltip, which games they should be playing. So it's very good if you have all the games live. And the games will be Raptor Double Max, It's Golden Fish Tank, Vikings Go to Valhalla, Valley of the Gods, and Neon Villains Double Max. All really good games. Have them live. They're great. They will do you good, as they will your players, and that's the focus of it all. Moving on from Carnival Craze, we're heading straight into Easter here with our Easter Ygg network campaign. It is a 50,000 euro prize drop. Now, prize drop is more simple than the missions one. Simply play the game and prizes will rain. Here, you can really only have one game and it will still be super relevant to your players. So make sure to position these games so that players can find them, use the assets from the client zone for banner sendouts, etc., to get players interested in this. Once again, free promo for the players. Now, the games in this one is going to be Easter Island, of course, and Easter Island 2, E4, Elysian, Jackpots, Multiply, Multimax, Homes and the Stolen Stones, and of course, Valley of the Gods. That was all on the network campaign side. So let's have a look at the panel of the day, where we're going to have from Yggdrasil Gaming, or our core studio, Sebastian Belton. He will be presenting Elysian Jackpots and Winter Berries 2, followed by Mr. Khash from Boomerang Games, talking about Lady Merlin Multimax, the follow-up to the first Lady Merlin. Really cool game. It's a lot of interesting mechanics there. So do stay for that one. It's really nice game. So I'm looking forward to having a look at that with Mr. Khash himself. Last but definitely not least of today's roadshow, we have Frank McPolin from Bang Bang Games. He's going to talk about Pharaoh's Gaze Double Max. It's an Egyptian themed game, highly anticipated one. Really looking forward to having a closer look at that game. So yeah, let's get into the content. All right, first out in the panel of the day, our very own Sebastian Belton. Welcome back to the Roadshow, man.
Hey, Alex, great to be here as always. Looking forward to another set of our amazing games to showcase to our lovely clients.
Awesome stuff. And today you are tuning in from what looks like a Greek kind of temple scene, or where
Yes.
are you tuning in from?
Well, I mean, I don't know the exact location because the creative team decided to make it, but whatever it is very majestic looking. Wouldn't you agree?
It
Somewhere
looks
somewhere in the Greek landscape of mythology, in that kind of that era and that look.
that's a good place, man. The place of legends and dreams
Indeed.
and great heroes. So yeah, I think we can get into the game that you have for us today. It's quite a cool one, and I am looking forward to seeing this one.
It certainly is. There's a lot to talk about with this one. So let's jump straight into it, shall we? Welcome everyone to Elysian Jackpots, Fast Pot 5, our latest gem from Yggdrasil Studios. And we're going to be jumping straight into the action here. As you can see, 2 scatters coming up straight away. There's a lot of information to break down, but I'll try to explain it all. So it's a pick and click here. We've actually hit the best possible option here is to get straight in on the bonus round. You can see some of the other benefits there. We're going to go into the bonus round. This is the, again, pick and click for a treasure chest, which can give you a variety of potential bonuses, including keys to give you access to the jackpot round, free spins round, but also you can see monetary values. In here, we get a monetary value. Those can be up between, I think, ×5 and up to ×500 maximum of your stake payout. But there's a lot of variety. So you can see the rocks can land on your treasure chest if you're trying to get them. But you will continue to go through from room to room until you get disqualified, which will be from getting hit from the rock. So you can see here, we're opening the treasure chest. I think this is treasure chest 3. So we're now going to see what we get, or we get hit by the rock. So that is there out of the picture now. So we got a couple of wins, but that will continue until you get over. So you can collect keys, you can get big monetary wins off that bonus feature. So that's the first feature to showcase. There's also a variety of entry points to the free spins jackpot feature. You can see the jackpots laid at the top of each of the columns, going from lowest to the highest value. You can see those keys adding up in the bottom. When you reach the level 5 on those keys, you will get access to 10 free spins and the corresponding 1 jewel towards the jackpot of choice. You can see we get 10 free spins. We've got 5 of those in the highest level. The multiplier is a ×3 base benefit if you get 3 scatters. If you get 4 or 5 scatters, which you have to get, we didn't actually get through the scatters, we got through the keys, so we won't actually get that. But you can see here we started off with 1 gem that we got in the top right hand corner, which is the biggest possible jackpot. We need to match 5 gems in a corresponding jackpot column to get the jackpot payout. So we're looking here for the jewels to appear in the corresponding column, and the closer we get to that, the better chance we have of pay. You can see we're gathering a variety of jewels here, but what we really want to do obviously is get the red jewels because they have the highest payout. But the looks of it, we're heading towards the yellow column as the likely potential. Obviously, we're running out of free spins here as well, so we need to be able to hit those jewels as we get closer. So we hit 4 jewels here. You can see we're getting that multiplier applied to each win as well. We didn't quite hit the jackpot there, so we were just short on that. So we got that through the conventional means of getting the additional gems at the jewels at the bottom, which are the key from the keys, sorry. So the keys are generating the 10 free spins plus an extra jewel, but there's a variety of other ways into it as well. Another way to get that is through the conventional method of getting scatters. 3 scatters will always generate you 10 free spins. You also get 10 free spins for 4 or 5. Now you can get access to the free spins or the bonus round through these, but the 4 and 5 give you the multiplier. So if you get 4 scatters, you get a 5x multiplier. The base gives you 3. If you get 5, you get a 500 times multiplier. So big payout. You can see here it's exactly the same as the other method. If you got through the key method, we've now got access, except we do not get a starter gem at the beginning of this. We instead get the multiplier benefit from the scatters. But you can see we're actually generating a few here. The best thing about this, the Fast Pot 5 method, is that we can get multiple rewards from these at the same time. So you could, by all purposes, release all 5 jackpots if you were very, very lucky. You can see here we're going to unlock 2 at the same time. So we will get those corresponding jackpots paid out to us in the 1 round. And we still have 3 spins to go, so it's quite possible whether we do or we don't is unknown. But there's a good possibility you could go on to then unlock the green pair. Obviously, we've only got limited 3 spins now, so it's a possibility that you could unlock further jackpots. A lot going on with the game there, and I hope that was explained in good detail.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Seb. A really cool game. Jackpots all over the place. We got Fastpot 5 coming in, a new gem. That's awesome to see. But let's start to talk a little bit about where we are here. The theme, like it's Greek mythology. Can you talk us through a bit about the work that went in in creating this game and choosing this theme?
Certainly, Alex. I was having a discussion with our game council when this first was pitched, and there was a lot of discussion about what it was going to be, and it was eventually decided that we'd go with the Greek theme. They've done an excellent job in our creative department, making this, realizing this imagery. And I think, I don't think anyone will disagree that the game looks fantastic visually. It's very clean, a very clean visual, which I'm personally a fan of. The UI looks very clean and tidy, and it just looks, very very modern looking, even though it's an more older aspect. You've got that kind of Greek vibe to it with the layout of the reels and the background with the waterfalls and the great visual sort of big mountains with mist and stuff, giving you that kind of very what's the word? I can't think of the word, but a very interesting visual motif for the game.
Definitely. I would the word I would use to describe is majestic. I
Yeah,
think it's a
go with
very
that.
majestic kind of, feel, you really feel like you're in an era of riches and heroes of, these kind of cool things. And I think, looking at the kind of Greek mythology themes, we have also the Egyptian theme to some extent that, I think those two are very strong performers, both in the land-based and in the online sector, have always been and probably will always be. So it is a very popular theme that I think it's a very strong one. Let's move on to talk a little bit about the math because this game is a bit different. Not only does it have jackpots, but in regards to volatility and how the game plays. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Certainly. Yeah, so the game, as I mentioned, is one of the unique releases that we have. If you look at a lot of our slots, we tend to favor high volatility as the go-to de facto slot decision making when it comes to our math model. But Elysian Jackpot's Fast Pot 5 is a definitely a detractor from that. We've gone towards low volatility, in this case, extremely low volatility. The other side of the spectrum. It's a 1 out of 6 on our
Wow.
volatility, which is very rare to see, and it does it. To use your word again, in a very majestic fashion. It does so
Nice.
in the game is very accessible. It plays very well. It's got a plethora of different features and ways to to hit or to access the jackpot. But due to the factor that it has a variety of levels of jackpots as well, means that there's a good chance that customers will experience those jackpot payouts, even if it's at the bottom end. It's got the ways that customers can experience all of these different features, from the treasure chest bonus game to the free spins to the jackpot payouts. These are all something that the average gamer playing on their whatever €50 budget are going to experience and going to have access to those thrilling moments.
Yeah, but that's good stuff. Like for me, I think it's really refreshing once in a while to play games with different volatility. I mean, I do play a lot of games with lower volatility simply out of, for entertainment, right? Like I think it's great, you're running low, you want to maintain that wallet a little longer. It's a great pick. Like it's something that should be in everybody's playlists. Mix it up with a little start out maybe a bit crazy on something highly volatile, see if you hit it big and then you move on maybe to something medium, and then you end with something a bit less volatile. I think that's a good way of going it, and I do believe that playing or gambling in general, players are becoming more aware of these kind of terms when it comes to volatility, and they usually have a preference. And I think a lot of players they vary somewhat in their selection of games. Sometimes it's nice to play a game like this, and sometimes it's nice to play a game like that. So I think variety is key, and we're definitely bringing that here with with this release. So that's super cool, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out once it goes live for sure. This majestic theme. But talking about volatility, obviously, when we move on to the next question, which is the player demographic, who this game is for. So naturally, that is going to play a part. But what else can we say about the who this game is for, Seb? What do you think?
Well, that's a very interesting question, Alex. There's a lot of types of players that will engage in Elysian Jackpots, Fast Pot 5. I think the most obvious one is the one that we've already mentioned, which is the low volatility players. This is definitely a deviation from the usual types of games that Yggdrasil creates. We're normally in the 5 to 6 level in the volatility, so this being a 1 is an absolutely complete 180 turn. And we will obviously therefore get the types of players that would not normally maybe play our games. So those are the types of players that are a big part of generating the interest in the terms of the demographic of play. And that's going to reach a much wider audience that we would normally not tap into. So that's the first point. The second point being, obviously, the jackpot players. We look at all the jackpots that we don't. It's not something that we normally do as well. So it's another fairly new concept. Although we have previous games have utilized this, we've now incorporated it as a gem, the Fast Pot 5. So we will expect to see it in our future main IP games. So yeah, definitely the jackpot game and the ways to access the jackpot within Elysian jackpots is many. So I think a lot of people will experience the game will also experience winning the jackpots, even if it's the lower level ones. And obviously the simplicity of the game is another key factor of the interest that it will generate in the market. So I'd say those are the key factors.
That's really, really cool, man. And I gotta say, the combination of a lowly volatile game as a jackpot game, I think is really interesting, because what that gives you is that you have, a fun and engaging gameplay where you can play for a long time and essentially farm the jackpots quite successfully while maintaining your balance. And I think that kind of really captures the jackpot player spirit here, because if you love jackpots, you're looking at the number on the screen, you want that number. So you're going to play for that number. And whilst doing it, you're also getting, really good entertainment out of the game without it actually robbing you of all your money, so to say. Well, at least slower.
It's accessible, it's an accessible slot, and I'm not saying that some of our other games wouldn't be, but we have high volatility, and customers know that when they play our games. And I think this type of game is more accessible to a softer market, which is a great thing. It gives us a much wider net to cast in terms of the type of players that want to play our games. And it's really good to see our studio create not just a game but also a gem that's potentially going to provide for that market.
That's good stuff. I'll let that be the closing words for Elysian Jackpots, because you got another game for us right around the corner. So let's have a look at that one.
Yeah, let's move on to Winterberries 2 then.
Good stuff.
So everyone, welcome to Winterberries 2. As you can see here, a very colourful slot display we've got to showcase. It's our latest release from Yggdrasil that will be at the end of February. If you've played the original Winterberries, which was before my tenure, you'll be very familiar with the outlay. You can see there's quite a lot going on here. We have obviously the golden bet in the bottom right that probably everyone is noticing is what releases that furthest column on the right. As you can see, any win line generates frozen symbols. The idea here is to generate columns of frozen symbols throughout the game to get those bonus multipliers. You must do them consecutively, so from left to right, and they need to be in order to generate the bonus. The first one here, as you can see, if you were to get a column on the left, we see we just enabled the golden bet there. You get the column on the left, you'll get parity. So you don't start paying out the multiplier until the second column is complete. What we really want to do here, though, is to get the scatters. We need 3 to generate a free spins bonus. Additional scatters will generate further free spins. The maximum free spin benefit if you get all 6 scatters at 20 free spins. You can see we've activated column 1, now column 2, so we now are eligible for the 2 times multiplier bonus in this particular case. So we will be paid out a 2x bonus on that as we completed the first 2 columns. So as mentioned, we really want to aim for the scatters here. As we can see, we're going into the bonus feature here. There are a lot of options for bonus buys. One of the key factors for people that will be interested in this type of game is the buy bonus feature has a lot of different options. So we are now hitting the scatter options here. We're going to end in the basic 3 scatters to access the bonus feature. Will give us 10 free spins at the entry level. Now the difference here is that the scatters take on a new life in this game. You also notice we doubled up on all multipliers at the beginning of the free spins bonus. That happens at the beginning of every free spins bonus. We double the multipliers. But what we're looking for is the scatter symbols. Now, to get this in the base game, it's just one color, but you'll see here in the bonus rounds, there's different colors. We got gold there. It gives a bonus of either 4, 6, or 8 additional multipliers, and it gives you an additional free spin as well. The silver scatter will give 1 to 3 additional multipliers, and the top level one, which is the platinum scatter, gives the highest bonus of 10 or 15 times multipliers. So this is really the best possible bonuses that you can acquire come from the platinum multiplier. In conjunction with the game, you still need to do the same payout potentials as the original, the base game. You need to still have the columns from left to right in a consecutive order, but the multipliers obviously are much higher, as are the risks. So obviously you want to land those scatters to get the big multipliers at the same time of trying to land the frozen symbols in order to benefit off those massive multiplier benefits that you get in the free spins. Obviously, due to the nature of the chance of getting these, the volatility can be very high, but it's an exciting experience because as you can see here, we're very close. We got an additional free spin, but we got 17x multiplier there. We didn't manage to quite get the second or third column, but as you can see, the multipliers can go very steeply up as you get closer and closer to landing those columns. A really exciting experience for anyone that's into that kind of thrill of slot play, and it will appeal certainly to anyone who's played the original Winterberries game and is familiar with the process. This game very much follows in the similar footstep, and with a much level enhancement in both the bonus buy and the golden bet options, as well as the gameplay, the simplicity of how it's accessed, and just the enjoyment of the slot. A really great example of an experience that we'd like to generate here at Yggdrasil, and we believe that Winterberries 2 will deliver on that prospect. We're just ending out the bonus round here as we continue to these free spins, trying to land these big payouts, and we got a big payout of 28 times the bet there, plus 28 times the win lines there. So it's a really big payout. You can see the massive potential in payouts here as well. And we're just finishing this out. As you can see, the bonus features are actually quite lengthy, so you do get a lot of value for that play when you're playing through. And we like the customers to experience that kind of gameplay in a slot. We do believe that a good bonus round with some longevity to it, keeps the customer engaged and makes it a fun experience rather than being a very short-lived one. So we'll just finish up here, and a very lucrative payout there on that free spins round. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for the presentation. Lovely, lovely game. Coming from the north myself, I have to say I'm in love with this theme. Got the berries of the winter forest. Good stuff, good stuff. A bit of homesick kind of feelings for me, but in a good way, of course. So just to start off, like I really liked what you were saying there towards the end about, this is a sequel, and we try to keep the classic Winterberries feel, and fans of the original game, they will find themselves, quite comfortably in this game as well. I really, really like that. But could you please also tell us a bit more about kind of how the team had worked with this concept moving into the sequel here, how, specifically the work that went into preserving the theme from the original.
Certainly. Well, Winterberries, the original, came out well before my tenure here at Yggdrasil. So it is a bona fide classic in the Yggdrasil library. It came from right up top. Fred Elmquist, who requested Winterberries 2.
Nice.
One of his personal favorites. I've heard. So it comes from himself to develop the second version of Winterberries. It has a pretty strong cult following in the industry. Some of our top providers, I won't go into people that have specified, but there's some very big supporters of Winterberries, the original. So Winterberries 2, we've looked to deliver on a similar kind of experience. Obviously, it is a more advanced and up-to-date version of the original. We've added elements of change to it, which some people may or may not agree with, but we've done it with the mind of the current status of the industry and what we think will appeal to the wider market. So Winterberries 2 very much a follow-on from the original with updated concepts and a modernized slot for a modern era.
That sounds pretty good, man. Gotta say. Moving on from the theme then, and talking a little bit about the math, the potential of the game, and how the potential kind of appears to the player from a player journey perspective. So, like, firstly, if you could answer the question of volatility, and then where is the potential in the game?
Well, Alex, that's a good question. Winterberries 2 is a 5 out of 6 on our volatility meter, so it's right up there. As you could see during the presentation, it was a very long bonus round, which is part of the experience that we've tried to emulate for customers, because I believe as well, and I think a lot of people would agree with me that a decent bonus round that's engaging with huge potential is always something that keeps customers on the edge of their seat. I think Winterberries is aiming at that kind of experience. You could see there that the multipliers were very much, going up and up and up. And of course, the columns coming in is the most important aspect of getting a good payout there. But it was so close to being 2 or even 3 columns there that we unlocked towards the end. And the outcome of that would have been the difference between getting 2,000 or 3,000 to maybe 5,000 or 6,000 or more. So obviously the excitement factor there has been really well realized in the game. And I think that's one of the driving points of the slot, and the reason that I believe that will bring about the success of the slot in the long term.
Good stuff, good stuff. Lots of entertainments, lots of volatility. Sounds tasty. But okay, so we talked about the theme, we talked about the math. Let's ask the $100 million question. Who is this game for? Who do you think will end up loving Winterberries 2?
Okay, well, I mean, there's probably some of the most obvious ones. With anyone that's a fan of the original Winterberries is almost certainly going to love this slot. It's going to make a lot of sense for them to come into Winterberries 2 with certain level of expectation, and I think that Winterberries 2 will deliver on the vast majority of those expectations for most people. A lot of people will move seamlessly from the Winterberries experience to Winterberries 2 with no problem, and go on to consider it another classic in their eyes. So those people probably up there as the highest level. Obviously, anyone that's a fan of fruit themed slots is going to enjoy Winterberries 2, seeing as it's very clearly a fruit based experience in terms of a slot game. It might not be traditional, but it's definitely still people that enjoy that kind of aesthetic will definitely enjoy the game. There's a couple of other obvious factors. Anyone that loves bonus buy games is going to love Winterberries 2. We have a variety of options. I only saw it very briefly in the presentation, but there's options for the lowest level entry, right up to the full works. Having access to all 23 spins and unlocking the extra reel and all the goodies that come along with that. So there's a variety of options for the bonus buy enthusiast.
Nice.
And lastly, but not by any means least, the golden bet feature, which is unique in Winterberries 2. As you may be aware, Alex, on our previous golden bets, most of them, the vast majority of them, released like an additional chance at hitting the bonus feature. At a cost of obviously increasing your stake. But this one does the same. It's an increase in your stake, but it changes the whole dynamic of the slot in general, not just in regards to hitting the feature, but it also changes the base game. So it's kind of like an all-round experience. You've got an increased chance of getting additional scatters that will appear there, but it also increases your multiplier potential if you're able to get all the way down to the end on the froze. If you manage to freeze the whole reel, that outcome of pay would be astronomically high. Yeah, the max payout as well, is obviously, it's a very high cap on it. So understandably, if you're able to use the golden bet feature and those stakes, you're able to obviously get a really good chance at a massive payout from it.
That sounds pretty good, man. I'm looking forward to getting into Winterbirds 2 for sure. And yeah, I'll let that be the closing word. So once again, Seb, thank you so much for joining the Roadshow with your 2 games of today. And yeah, I'll see you in the next edition as well.
Certainly will, Alex. Thanks very much for your time.
Have a good one. All right, welcome to the Yggdrasil Roadshow. Making your premiere here today, Mr. Khash from Boomerang Studio. Warm welcome. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. Thank you very much, Alex, for having me.
It's a true pleasure. So today we're going to look at a sequel to a very successful game. It's about the Merlin. It's about the Lady Merlin. So let's have a look at the game.
Great. So as you mentioned, this is a sequel to our very successful game, Lady Merlin. So we incorporated the multi-max, very, very popular gem feature from Yggdrasil, because we thought it's a very perfect fit for the sequel for this game. We have a huge max exposure for this, which is 20,000 of total bet. It's very achievable. It's not something never happens. It's not astronomical. Basically, it's very achievable. And we add a struck zone, our very own mechanic, which could actually award up to 5 times multiplier, could award different symbols such as scatters or collect and coin symbols, which are the cash prizes. And also it could actually freeze your multiplier for extra spin. A bit further, I will explain it in the game, how it works, but yeah, it truly shows the potential for this game. Also, every wild we land, it contributed to the multiplier. So we build up our multiplier with different ways. One is a struck zone, one is a multi-max wild landing wild. So as I said, we could actually have up to 5 multiplier for struck zone, scatter, coil, and second chance is another feature. So second chance in the struck zone, what it does is removes all the low-paying symbols. All suits will be removed and make room for new drops. So new symbols will drop and give you second chance to win, which is very extraordinary potential. You will see in the game how it works. So let's roll it and see how the game works. So very standard welcome screen. And so on the left side, we will see the strike zone symbol, and on the right side, we see the actual multiplier. So this one, we see the second chance is landed. Also, we have collect and coin. So we have a cash prize and standard drop for the cascade games. And now we're removing for the second chance. So second chance, it's removed and just new lines are winning. It's really helpful when you players see there is no win, there actually might come new wins. It's very handy. It's very. Now we trigger a free spins, and also we freeze the multiplier. I will explain later how the freeze works. And this game has a winner spin, so 5 winner spin, only wins count. So non-winning spins won't count and only contribute to the multiplier. So it's a very good way that players cheer when there is no win, because they actually build up their multiplier. So as you said, a very early stage, our multiplier got to the 16 time, and on average, it gets to 30 times very decent multiplier, but easy go unlimited. There is no limit to the multiplier. So as you can see, the non-winning spins could contribute to the multiplier, which is a huge benefit. We also have cash prizes. 500 times of bet is the maximum cash prize per coil symbol. So we can have multiple coil symbols and multiple. In this spin, we have two collect. Okay, and we landed a coil. So you can see one very small price, $2 prize, become $88 prize because help with the multiplier and to collect. So if we have multiple collect, it will be collected multiple times. So easily a very small prize become a very big, depends on the multiplier. So more towards the end of the feature, because of the multiplier we build up, we get bigger and bigger wins. So the extended time is actually not a bad thing. We really want to have a dead spins in this game because, as I said, those are contributing to the multiplier. That all we want to them for this game, to just see the multiplier grows and grows. We can also have a scatter in a strike zone that helps re-triggering and triggering the feature. So re-trigger available for this game as well. So add extra 5 spins, 5 win spins, and then I can see, you can imagine how big the win become if you get the re-trigger. And finally, the freeze we did on trigger, when we back to the base game, we have 1 extra spin with the multiplier we carried over from the free game. So we back from free game with 22x multiplier, and then that become a very two-of-a-kind win, very small win become very, very noticeable and very decent. Also, we have anti-bet for this game with 50% extra, which is very affordable. It still is 30 credits. We have more wilds on real strip, so player will see more wilds landing, which cause the multiplier to grow even bigger. So very, very affordable anti-bet. We didn't want to go crazy high, so we wanted to keep it still affordable, but noticeably better gameplay if you are looking for a bigger multiplier. So yeah, that's about it. So it's a feature pack and a lot of events happening in the game. So we tried our best to keep the players entertained, and we are very, very excited about this release.
Thank you very much for that presentation. And let me say that I think we're all very excited about this release. As you said, like just looking at your presentation here, it is a very action-packed game. I mean, you can expect things to happen all the time, even on the non-winning spins, which I think is fantastic. It's a bit of a fresh take on the multipliers, you know, to reward players when they are rewarded and to also reward players when they're not rewarded. I'm absolutely loving it. And throughout the experience,
that's great to hear that from you.
Throughout the experience, you got the Lady Merlin. She is casting spells left, right, and center. She's very engaged as well to kind of, you know, give you that immersion, right? And also this this lovely soundtrack and the lovely sounds with the features. It just brings a really, really nice experience, I really have to say. So let's talk a little bit about what we just saw. Let's talk about the game. I want to start out to talk a little bit about the theme. And obviously, this is a sequel to the first Lady Merlin. So can you walk me through a bit of the work you did creating this sequel?
Absolutely.
Theme and features.
So yeah, absolutely. So Merlin games always successful, always popular. So we know that. So we try to have a fresh take on Merlin and introduce a lady. And also because our original Merlin was very successful and popular, we thought that it is actually common sense to build a game and a sequel for this game. A theme is very popular. All Merlin games, as you know, are very popular. So it's a very proven theme, I would say, to pick. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool. I think So when you create a game, a lot of people, they're really focusing on getting the small details right, which is important as well. But I think more so is to actually pick a theme that makes sense. So like if you have a great game and the theme is off, the game is not going to see the light of day, unfortunately. Because when it comes to players, when it comes to people in general, if you pick a car, if you pick whatever, the color is really, really important. And when you pick a game, the theme is the first thing you're gonna see. It's gonna be what brings you in. So I think that's very, very important.
Couldn't
Let's move
agree
away
more.
from the theme. I think you did really well there, of course, looking really good. Let's talk about the math here. Let's dig a little deeper into the features, and let's start out with the volatility. So, where would you place this game on a 1 to 10 volatility scale?
So I would say 7.5 is a fair rate for this
Nice.
game.
I think that's really interesting because obviously you have a game with, as you say, a lot of dead spins, long session time. It is a high max exposure, but it's still not super volatile in that sense. And I think that's really, really
Yes.
interesting because
Yeah,
what it tells me is that there is lots of entertainment in here without
exactly.
compromising the wins.
Exactly.
So I would assume then that there is very little small wins. Is that correct?
That's very correct. Thank you for
Okay.
bringing that up. So basically, if I go back to the original mail in which we had a race game,
Mhm.
we wanted to focus on bigger wins. We didn't want to distribute the wins into small ways, into 100,000 or million ways of wins. We focused on 20 wins,
Yeah,
some meaningful wins. So it's just 20 lines, but you will see some meaningful wins. You don't get 1 cent, 2 cents. So you get some
nice.
real big wins and keep you entertained. So that was our plan.
That's super good. So none of what I would call the bullshit wins. You only get the big juicy wins, and even when you got
That's
dead spin, you're a winner. So I think wow, that's a really good
that's
way
exactly
of
correct.
working with the math and the player entertainment. There is also
Exactly.
jackpots in the game. So you have the mega jackpot at 500x, the major 50x, and the mini 20x. And this is something that the player will always see on the sides displayed. So you
Yep,
can win these on any spin. Is that correct?
you can. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely. So any coin symbols along with collect symbol, you
Mhm.
will you will instantly win that prize. So it's very achievable to get multiple, actually, multiple major, multiple mini. So multiple coin could land as, and also you can actually land, collect and coin on a strike zone.
Wow,
So you can think of a strike zone as a mini feature on the side of your game. It actually helps to improve your gameplay through multiple symbols and events actually.
that's really cool. Wow, that's amazing. There's there's so much that can happen for the player on a spin. It's
That's
just there's really something to stick around for, to keep farming for those features, because you're going to be rewarded as well for doing that. I think it's absolutely genius the
exactly.
way you've done this. Well done, I have to say.
That's, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are very excited about this release.
Yeah, so are we, and so am I. I can't wait to see this game live. I think it's going to do really well. I really, really hope so.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
me too.
talk a little bit about the player demographic for the game. Obviously, it's a
Yep,
sequel, so there's already a following from the first game,
yep,
right? But who do you
yes.
think will play this game?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, we are focusing on real wins. So
Mhm.
players who enjoy actual real wins, not the small wins, will enjoy this. But more importantly, player who enjoy multiplier,
Yeah,
because there are players who watch multipliers grow and grow, and they see the potential in multiplier. They definitely will enjoy that because the original mailing was also based on the multiplier, and it was a huge success for us. So it's natural decision to go multiplier and sequel for this game. So definitely mainland Europe,
hmm,
UK, they will like they will enjoy this game as they did the original one.
yeah. I think that's super good. Well said right there. I think I'm part of the player demographic because I surely love this game. So
That's good. That's great.
That's good. I'm a Swedish man in Malta, so that's definitely part of the player demographic right there. Just to conclude, let's talk about the different way to bet in this game. You mentioned an anti-bet. If you could just explain the anti-bet once more for the audience.
Sure. So with 10 extra credits or 50% of the original bet, you can enable the anti-bet. The anti-bet gives you more chance to land wild. Landing wild is one way to build up your multiplier because of the multi-max mechanic. So obviously, if you get bigger multiplier, your win will be bigger. So it will be well rewarded if you enable the anti-bet, and it's affordable.
Super good. And the anti-bet was in the bottom right corner, right? It was the
That's
button
correct. We call it Wild Plus.
Wild Plus. Excellent. That's good. Super cool. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Khash, for joining us in the Roadshow. It was a true pleasure to have you here.
My pleasure.
And I truly hope I will see you again soon.
Absolutely. Me too. Thank you very much for having me.
Have a good one. All right, last out in the panel of the day, but definitely not least, the man that puts the bang in bang bang himself, Frank McPolin. Welcome back to the Yggdrasil Roadshow.
Hi Alex, how you doing? That was a good intro. I feel like
I've been practicing all day for that one.
Yeah, I feel like I should be coming out into a boxing ring or something.
Yeah, but it's good to come in with a bit of hype. I think that's always nice. Today, speaking of hype, you got quite a hyped up game for us today. Pharaoh's Gaze Double Max.
Yeah, super excited about this one. So as you rightly say, it's our first Double Max game. It's heavily inspired by Raptors. We're huge fans of that game. We spent a lot of time, over several thousand spins, playing that game, trying to get a feel for it. Had a little bit of help from you guys as well, from your dev team and your game production team, just to give us a few nudges in the right direction about how the game is balanced and that sort of thing. And yeah, really, we were thinking to ourselves, what do we want to see as players from this game? Because we're such huge fans of Raptors, what do we want to see from Raptors that we could maybe try and put a little twist onto our own Double Max game and enhance that if it was at all possible. So, I mean, the answer that came to mind was more wilds, right? So what you want there is, it's the wilds that help out the multiplier, right? That's what keeps that ticking over. And so, yeah, what we've added here, as you can see from this splash screen here, is that we have added the ability to the Pharaoh essentially generate more wilds. So yes, this is Egyptian theme. It's got quite a unique little look about it. It's kind of like a darker Egyptian theme. The premise is that we have this guy, the Pharaoh, who's been laying in his tomb for thousands of years, and he's just been awoken by you trying to sort of go on your hunt for riches. And what you do, the idea is that you're going to collect gems, and then 3 gems on one reel activates the Pharaoh's gaze. And what he does is he will then give you 3 additional wilds on that reel through the next 3 results. Now that they can be new spins, or they can be but they can even be cascades, right? So each new cascade that comes in, you'll get an extra wild. And yes, by doing that, we can have multiple reels with the Pharaoh's gaze active at once. And then, like I say, it just adds that little bit of excitement. You can have a few of them popping off, extra wilds in, and that really helps you get up through those double max multipliers. So, from our point of view, let me run off a few spins here for you, and then we'll keep talking as we go. Okay, so off we go. So straight away here, we've now hit the Pharaoh's gaze on the first reel, and you can see we've got our extra wild there. That's actually started the win sequence now, and as per the normal double max rules, we're going to ×2. We've got another win there, gets us up to ×4. And you can see that you know, getting the Pharaoh's gaze obviously on the left hand side of the reels, where we've got it here on reel 1, is really very, very valuable, and you know, we've got that going through now. So already here we can see that we're up to time 16 in the base game. Now that's something already that is a little bit different from Raptors, right? I mean, like I say, I played a lot of Raptors, and it's relatively unusual to even get to times 8 in Raptors in the base game, let alone 16. So you know, that's sort of one of the differences that we're seeing there. And look, you know, in order to pay for that, because obviously, you know, you can't just make Raptors and add a bunch of new wilds into it. You've got to be able to balance that out somewhere. In order to pay for that, we adjusted the pay table a little, and so, you know, the low symbols, we brought the pay table down a touch. It's still very strong at sort of 5 of a kinds, which is where we're seeing there. That's really the benefit of what you're getting on the 5th reel gaze. You know, normally the wire, like, you know, getting extra wires on the 5th reel, not a huge fan of that as a player, but when you are putting that into context of that being able to link those up with the 5 of a kind, well, now you're really talking. So here we are. Look, we're in the base game here. We actually managed to get up to times 32 there. Got a big win along the way. So that's great. So yeah, the game has got the buy bonus, and it's also got our bonus boost in it. The bonus boost is your standard doubles your chance of free spins. So we've got that turned on here, and hopefully we'll hit some free spins here. In fact, we have. So that's good. So yeah, what you'll see is that, you know, you can. Well, that's a good showcase there, because it's seen that you can land those free spins bonus games through the drop downs as well. So as you go into free spins, the normal award is 7, but as you just saw there, what you get is you get a boost as you go in. So you get awarded 6 free gems, and they will either fill up to activate your pharaohs, or, you know, they'll just start filling the empty holes one way or the other. And but yes, in bonus, in normal play, you actually carry over the number of gems you already had. So if you hit that bonus game when you've got like a load of gems, you know, spread across numerous reels, that is amazing, because you're just going to activate all of those pharaohs really straight off the bat. And those first few spins, which are absolutely crucial in a double max bonus game, they're going to be amazing. They're really going to help you, give you that head start in that free spins game, because I think we all know that, you know, one of the big appeal of a double max game is sitting on a massive multiplier for those last 2 or 3 spins, right? That's where it really gets super exciting. And so, you know, by giving that gem boost at the start, then that really gives you the potential for that accelerator. So yeah, we got through our 7 spins there. We didn't necessarily go amazing there. I think we only managed about times 12 there, but you know, that just feeds into the fact that this is still a volatile game, right? Yeah, so we got the buy bonus in this game as well, which is slightly different in that you don't get spins awarded. You don't get the gems carry over into the buy bonus. That would obviously just be impossible. But you still get the Pharaoh's gem boost at the start. So what you'll see in the buy bonus game is that actually what you can do is you have a feature gamble available if you want to enable that, right? So you can't really have a feature gamble in the base game here, because it's just too mathematically complex to be carrying gems over and feature gambling. You know, the amount of simulations we would have to run to check the RTP would take us 6 months just to be running RTP reports. So not really feasible, but we can do it with the buy bonus, where we're starting with no gems, awarding the 6 gems, and then, like I say, the player can gamble much the same as the Raptors, from 7 to 11 or 11 to 13, and then off they go. So you know, that's all of the features in the game. It's got that amazing double max action with a collection mechanic, the Pharaoh's Gaze feature for your extra wilds, your bonus boost to double your chance of hitting that free spins base bonus in the base game, and a buy bonus in order to you know, go in that route if you want to, and the buy bonus you can have a gamble as well. So that's the game. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, good stuff. It looks really, really good, gotta say. I can't wait to get into this game, man. Really looking forward to it.
Well, what's great here as well is we combine that darker Egyptian pharaoh, and what you'll have noticed there is that the background music's got that heavy sort of, you know, rock guitar, bit of heavy metal going on behind it, just to build that. Just what we wanted to do is just separate it from a normal Egyptian game, right?
Yeah.
We just wanted to give a little bit of a twist on it, and we thought, yeah, let's go a little bit darker, get some of that detuned, you know, metal guitar going on in the background. We saw a big win there that's got like what the guys have done an amazing job on the animation of the pharaoh during the big win levels. And so yeah, we think it's I mean, artistically it's amazing. And we've got real high hopes for this one. I think it's gonna, you know, anyone that like Raptors is gonna love this game, right? It's another logic. It's just basically another logical branch from where Raptors was, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you can definitely see the Raptor in here, even though it's, you know, the completely different theme. And I really like how you know, mentioning how the game came to be here. That, you know, you play the thousands of spins in the game, and you know, some of the things, you know, you mentioned that you're making it a bit more accessible, the multipliers, to kind of
Yes.
get in there. And I think that's a nice twist, because that's, you know, that's something that you carry on as a player, and then you can go and make it into your own game. You know, I think that must be a nice benefit of your job. You know, to make the game you want to play. You know, I think that's a
It's
really
great.
good thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's how I mean, to be honest with you, it's kind of how we start all of our game designs. Fortunately, being a sort of, you know, a relatively small studio who, you know, has a business model that isn't based on quantity, you know, we always start out from a point where we sort of, you know, we look at games or we get inspiration or whatever, and we think, yeah, but as a player, you know, oh, this bit could be better, couldn't it? Or that bit could be better. Or how cool would it be if it had this little twist in it? And they all, that sort of conversations always form, you know, the start of any conversation we have about new
Yeah.
games. And yeah, you're right. It is one of the big benefits of you know, well, it's one of the big benefits of running your own slot game company, apart from everything else.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, gotta say. But let's talk a little bit about the math in the game here. So we mentioned that the
Yeah.
multipliers are more accessible, but like let's talk about the player journey and kind of, you know, the potential of the game. So, you know,
Yeah.
how does that play out, if you can walk us through it?
Yeah. So the game is win capped at 15,000x.
Okay.
Okay. And we had to do that because without the cap, we were seeing some crazy runaway wins that I think would have really been a bit scary for quite a few operators out there. So we wanted to just make it, you know, really lucrative and you know, have that big headline, that big 15,000x headline, but without going crazy sort of 50, 60, 70,000x as a possible top, right? So, you know, but that's good. And by pulling in that win cap, you know, it did allow us to tweak the RTP a little bit more, so we get some nice good wins through free spins, but nothing you know, just ludicrous.
Yeah.
In terms of the volatility, the base game doesn't feel very volatile, right? Because like I say, because of the Pharaoh's Gaze pops off quite often. You know, every 15, 20 spins, you're going to see one or more of those reels coming in. You're going to get plenty of double match action through the base game. But yes, the free spins can feel a bit volatile. I mean, as we just saw in that example there, the main reason being that, like I say, if you go into free spins without really having many gems already collected, then you're gonna find it hard to really hit 100, 200, 300x. If
Yeah.
you go in free spins with a whole bunch of gems up there and you get lucky and hit it at that point, that's the route, right? You're gonna absolutely fly. Like, you know, you're gonna get plenty of that Pharaoh's Gaze action. You're gonna ramp that that multiplier up. And also, don't forget, you know, if you're sitting there with, you know, let's say 3 or 4 of these pharaohs on 2 gems and you hit 3 spins, that's 3 or 4 of them pharaohs that are going to give you that gaze award for the first 3 spins, right? And so, you know, you're going to be getting almost full boards of wilds over those first 3 spins. Now, you know, mathematically, that's quite clever from the team that did the math for us, because, you know, we obviously want to be giving the like, you know, the wild wins at the start of the bonus when they're only ×1, ×2, ×4, ×8. You start trying to give those massive multiplier, like loads of wild awards when you're up at 1,028 or 2,000 or 4,000x. You know, that's when it starts to go crazy. So the way that we balance that is you still get really good wins throughout the game, right? It doesn't really affect the real set. But the higher up the multiplier table you get, you'll start to see fewer gems coming through in free spins. But these are all trade secrets. You don't go around telling players this.
All right, that's good stuff. I'm gonna let that be the closing words, because as you can see, night has fallen here in the in the Yggdrasil studio. It's getting quite dark. I had to open up a white document here to maybe shed some light so you can see my face. But anyways, thank you so much, Frank, for joining the.
My pleasure, as always.
So yeah, I'll be seeing you again very, very
yeah,
shortly.
we'll see you next time for Shadow Raiders, which we're also super pumped about, our next Multimax game.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for this time. Have a good
Cheers.
one.